Hi, besties. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Bestie, the podcast where we talk about faith, family, relationships, and all the things in between. My name is Wani.
And I'm Samario.
And we're so excited today because we have a little treat for you guys. We have a guest with us. She is a wife, a mother, a successful real estate agent, a clinical research professional. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mamai.
Yay! Welcome.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
We're so happy to have you join us, Mamai, as we talk about family and the unspoken expectations that comes with our family. So we want to go ahead and dive into the conversation and start by you telling us about when did you become aware of some of the unspoken expectations or rules that goes on in your family?
Yes. So I want to say I became aware maybe in my late teens, early 20s, maybe particularly in college where you're more exposed, right? You are meeting different people from different background. You know, I'm Liberian. I'm the firstborn. I'm the oldest of three siblings. So I started becoming aware when I was spending more time with other people in college, spending time with their families, and kind of seeing their dynamic or interactions. And I had a epiphany, like, everybody isn't like this, right? Where mostly like the American culture, they're more open and vocal about certain things, whereas the African or Liberian culture, we're not as, vocal with our emotions or, sacrificing yourself on the behalf of someone else, right? Or, just an unspoken expectation of like college or education, right? So it's expected of you to go to college, like you don't have an option, right? Whereas like the American culture, you don't have to go to college. You can do whatever you want to do. You can be whatever you want to be, So I think it was around that time where I started to notice that.
Yeah, I would definitely agree when it comes to the school portion of it all, because that's one thing that African families push.
Like it's ingrained in you. You have to go to school.
Yes, you have to be,
choice.
and the type of degree path
Right,
that
right.
you got to be a doctor, you got to be a lawyer, something up there. That is
right.
So like, and I was just always look at some of my peers, and I'm like, wow, like how you could just go and get a certification, whereas my parents are like, nah, you got to go get that degree.
Yeah.
Like, we look into you to make sure to take care of the family later on down the line. So definitely could agree with that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, like the whole look into you to, I guess, make the family what they need to be, because I don't think they realize the pressure that put on us. Because it's like, we have our life, like we want to do what we want to do, but now it's like, your family is like counting on you. Like they want you to do the things that they didn't do. Right. So now that expectation and that pressure is on you, and that's tough.
Yeah, especially depending on like your place or role in your family dynamic, right? For example, like I'm saying, I'm the oldest of three. Yeah. So the expectation is I'm supposed to be strong. I'm supposed to be the achiever, the peacemaker, the responsible one. Those expectations are already put on me, whether I want it or not, you know? So it's just, it can be challenging. For sure.
No, I agree, because I'm also the first too, and I'm always the one having to set the example. I'm like the test dummy.
Yeah. Yeah. It starts with you.
It always starts with me, so I always feel like that very hard pressure on me, and I'm always the one that have to sit down with my siblings and tell them like, hey, this is the reason why we have to go about doing X, Y, and Z, and this is the reason why our parents are so hard on us,
Right.
Sometimes they don't understand, and it's like you have to take the time to kind of, as the older sibling, and kind of like break it down to them and have them understand what it is,
And it's not just cultural but generationally too, right? So our parents they came from a different generation. They were born and raised in Liberia predominantly, right? And we're this generation where we came here at a younger age, so we now have to kind of redefine what that looks like, right? Because their generation is all about secrecy, right? There's a lot of secrets in the Liberian family. There's a lot of things where, like you said, it's unspoken, but it's supposed to be understood. So now this generation, it's up to us to redefine what that love looks like, what, being loyal to your family, but still being loyal to yourself at the same time. And that's a really tough place to be,
Yeah. So how do you when there's family secrets and things like that, how do you handle that? Like, how do you go about it?
Like I said, so in my late teens, mid 20s, there was a big family secret that was exposed. And I think it starts with just being open and having a conversation, right? And being open-minded with people's perspective, right? They do things for a certain, for whatever their reason is. And a lot of times, it's out of fear. Fear is the root of a lot of those secrets, right? Being uncomfortable with certain things. But then they also have to understand that you, as the person receiving the secret, how you may handle it and what the impact will be on your life, right? And I'm not just speaking personally, I'm just saying in general, right? Family secrets, it just has to be with communication, being open, being forgiven, right? Forgiveness is everything, right? And it takes time. Time heals all, and just surrendering everything to God, and it takes a lot of strength.
Yeah, and I feel like when it comes to keeping secrets, African parents love it. It don't even have to be anything major.
Right.
They just love keeping secret. Like it could be something as simple as, I don't know, like your cycle or something. Like I feel like I'm like, why are you hiding it? Like you have to talk to your kids about it. And as a parent, that's something, we have to try to break.
Correct.
Like we need to make our kids feel comfortable to talk to us.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing I tell my son, like, you can talk to me about anything. Like, I don't want you to feel like, something is so bad that you have to hide it from me. Because then crazy things starts happening when they start hiding stuff.
Yeah.
But I just never understand, like, why do they keep so much secret? Like, it don't have to be that deep.
It's stuff that gets passed down, like generational.
That's
like
all they know. Like, you don't
yeah.
have nothing to compare it to because their parents were like that. So that's what I'm saying. Now it's up to us because things have changed. We're in a different world. We're in America, right? And you kind of, not to say conform to where you are, but just, it has to be a balance. It can't just be one-sided. And it's tough to do.
I don't know. Like, for me, I'm trying to figure out, how would you break that generational cycle? Like, what steps would you take to get to that point?
The number one thing I can think of is setting boundaries and expectations. And for the longest, I thought true love meant, sacrificing yourself on the behalf of someone else. And loyalty without boundaries is not love. That's erasure. Like, you're dimming yourself, you're erasing yourself, you're abandoning yourself. You're betraying yourself ultimately, you know. And you cannot pour out what you don't have. So you have to set boundaries, expectations. It's not necessarily, boundaries doesn't mean that you don't love the person less. It means, like, I also love myself. I'm not going to try to abandon myself for the sake of your peace or your comfortability. But you just have to set the boundary, and it's hard to do.
I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, it's so hard, especially when you love and care about the person and you want the best for that person. I think I mentioned this before, like setting those boundaries with your family, especially your immediate family. Like, I don't like to.
But I mean, I feel like you have to.
You have to, or else you're gonna run yourself drained. Like. It's a lot. Like, boundaries is so important. That's something I know I went to therapy for as well, because you grow up thinking love is one thing when it's really not. Love doesn't mean you have to sacrifice yourself, because we're Christians and you think about Christ and the ultimate sacrifice. But there's also, scriptures that tells you about, like, for instance, I think it's in Galatians, yes, we're supposed to, carry our brother's load, but then, like, verses down, later verses down, it talks about, okay, we're also supposed to carry our own individual loads, right? So that doesn't mean you love anyone less. It's just having balance.
Yeah. And I'm glad you talked about, the Bible, because here we go,
Yeah.
y'all. What role does your faith plays when it comes to forgiving a family member?
My faith is
it can be
everything.
hard.
It is hard. But God is a gracious God. You have to surrender it all to Him. Honestly, was it in Matthew? It talks about, "Come to me, all those who's weary and burden, and I will give you rest."
Right.
And I noticed, like in my moments of people pleasing, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't abiding by that. I was running.
Yeah.
I wasn't giving it to God. And true love or sacrifice is, well, the strength, to me, the strength comes from giving it to God.
Yeah.
That's true strength.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do. So my faith plays a big role in how I conduct myself and live my life, but you have to first have a relationship with God, because if you listen to I don't know, preachers, podcasts, whatever, like other people, they have their own perspectives, but if you know God yourself, you also are given that power to understand, if you ask for wisdom and knowledge and understanding, of course, but to understand His word and apply it to your life. So, yeah.
So, like, what helped you get to that point of kind of like redefining yourself and setting those boundaries and making sure your family are not angry with you when you make these choices, and for you to ultimately protect your peace and your happiness? Like,
yeah, because it feels like you're being disloyal when you do that, right? When you set boundaries, it's hard to do. It feels like you're being disloyal. It feels like you're I don't know. When I do it, when I would people please or say yes, I didn't do it out of love or joy. It was like out of guilt, and like they were entitled to me doing it, or what's the word? Entitlement, like, right? Yeah, being entitled to do it. Or obligation. That was the word I was looking for. I felt like an obligation. So it takes time, and you have to be consistent in those boundaries. And true love comes from mutual respect, and it's not respectful if someone continues to expect you to give, and they're not even reciprocating half of what you're pouring out. That's not true love.
Yeah.
tough.
That's
Tough. And having to explain that to somebody is like, people just don't ultimately get it. They're just thinking about themselves in that moment.
Correct.
And
A lot of people are
hard.
selfish.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to explain, like, hey, I love you. I want to be there for you. I want to do everything I can for you as my family, as my friend, as whoever. But I also need to love myself. And I don't want to feel guilty or bad for doing that for me,
Yeah, even Jesus set boundaries in Luke. Like, he stepped away from the crowd. Like, he isolated himself. He said no when he needed to. So it tells, again, you talk about faith and how do I apply that? Yes, he also did the same thing. So I think we just have to, again, know the word for yourself, and going through things in life, it teaches you that sometimes, right? You got to see what you can take out of heartbreak, or take out of friendships that just go left, job opportunities that go down the drain. You have to see what God is trying to tell you from that. What's the learning opportunity in those situations? Yeah.
Have you ever felt lost in all of that? Like, I know you talked about how you got to this point of navigating through all of that, but have you, before that process of, finding yourself in that, have you ever felt lost?
Absolutely. Yes, I have felt lost. I think we all probably have felt lost, in a moment. And I think, again, when you're isolated, you get to see things from a different perspective. And God allows certain things to happen, right? So you are able to draw closer to Him, right? So yes, I have felt lost. Again, you just have to give it to God. It's hard. It's hard, but situations do, force you to do that. Because when you have nothing else to depend on, no one else to depend on, where do you go? Yeah.
And so how do you go about having a family member that's done something to you, right? But they never apologize. So how do you go about that healing for yourself?
Well, Well, first of all, let me see. Well, the answer I want to give, I was going to say forgive them first, but that's not true because it took me some time to get to what I'm about to tell you. But now I've learned to allow myself to feel my feelings because I'm the type of person where I do hold a lot of, pressure and feelings. No, not grudges, but I abandon my own feelings, right, to make other people happy. That's what I'm saying. So at first, it was just me not feeling my feelings and actually letting it out. It was just suppressing those feelings, right? But again, with time, growth, and therapy, right, and life in, I have learned to just let those feelings out. If I have to cry, scream, whatever it is I have to do, let it out, and then I'm good. Once I let it out and sit in my feelings, because it's okay to sit in your feelings. You have to understand how to sit in your feelings and be okay with the sadness, be okay with the betrayal. Not be okay, but I'm just saying being okay with like letting it out. So once you let it out, once I let it out, I then, ask God to forgive me for whatever, my part was in that hurt. Because it takes two. What my part was. Forgive yourself. Ultimately, because you can't allow someone you can't allow someone to have so much power over your mind. Your mind is such a powerful thing. When someone has that much power over your mind, it manifests itself through other areas in your life, right? And you will see yourself kind of dimming your light, right? Or changing a little bit. So I think forgiveness, finding peace in it, loving them from a distance, because you don't have to hate them, right? You just love them from a distance. You can be cordial. You just use wisdom in how you now conduct yourself with that person.
Yeah, and that goes just for family, like, because I think people always associate that with friends.
Right.
You can also create space with family too. I know that everybody be like, blood is thicker than water. Sometimes it's necessary when it comes to family to create that boundary.
And I think that whole loving from a distance is so important. Because like you said, you don't hate them, but it's like, what's best for you. And if that person is not best for you, you just need to just stay over there. I'm okay over here. Like, I love you, but you're good over there. So.
I love myself too. And I see how you operate, and I choose not to put myself in that. So I think that that goes a long way.
So what encouragement would you give to someone who is going through this season where they're experiencing family rules and expectations and things of that matter? Like, what advice would you give them, and they don't know how to navigate that?
Okay, ask me the question again. They don't know how to navigate the expectation of families?
Like, if they're going through this situation right now, but they don't know how to, like, push forward with it, what would you tell them? Like, what help you get over,
Talking to someone. Finding someone that you can trust. And it may not necessarily be a friend, because you can't take advice from every friend, right? But certain people, you will know who to talk to, right? Or even going to therapy. Again, I've been to therapy. I believe in therapy. My background is in psychology. So I do believe in mental health and, being okay mentally and spiritually as well. But yes, I would say talking to somebody, going through therapy, trying to understand the root or the family dynamic. Like, what about your family has influenced you to be how you are now? How do you show up in different spaces based on your upbringing, right? I think that's one way. When you understand that, again, wisdom and understanding drives everything, right? When you understand that, you're able to find peace. Knowledge and wisdom is everything. I'm always praying for knowledge, wisdom, and discernment. Those three things go hand in hand. If you have knowledge and wisdom and discernment, you're able to navigate whatever comes your way. You may not have the answer or may do it the right way, but just, I don't know, I just think that's a good foundation. But yes, definitely. What was the first thing I said? Talking to someone. praying to God, asking for forgiveness for yourself too, forgiveness for the other person.
Yeah.
Again, you can't. It's not up to you to carry somebody else's burden.
It's not.
It's not. I mean, I feel like, again, when you're the firstborn or the peacemaker, all these expectations are set on you, and it causes so much pressure. But you cannot betray yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's what, like, true. What do I want to say? True healing starts with self-reflection and self-awareness. You have to be aware of yourself.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you're able to grow. I posted something about this on social media the other day. I said, people, when how they say the older you get, the wiser you get. That's not necessarily true.
Not true.
That is not true. See, some people just grow in age and number. That's it. But you cannot truly grow if you lack self-reflection and self-awareness.
Yeah.
Because that's where the change can happen. That's where the beauty happens, right? So just having self-reflection, seeing what parts you played in a situation, how you can better yourself and, overcome that situation. I think that would be my advice. Those three things. Giving it, talking to somebody, giving it to God, having self-reflection. And
I like that because you talked about, asking God for forgiveness, like for the part that you played. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't do that. I know I don't do that. Like, I'll just pray and ask God to forgive the person for, but it's like, I need to start, because obviously, I don't know, did I do something to them to react? You know what I mean? So I need to start praying and asking God to forgive the role that I play in the situation.
And sometimes it may not necessarily that you played a particular role in a sense of you also did something.
Yeah.
When I say my role in it will be accepting it. That's my role.
Okay.
Like, what do you call it? Like babying the person. Like, imagine like somebody keep doing something to you, right? And you don't speak up, you don't say nothing.
Okay.
They're gonna think it's okay, but deep inside, because you're trying to appease them, keep the peace, make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And your role in that is accepting it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to hold. That's the word, enabling them. And it's hard to hold anybody accountable, really.
Yeah, that just
It's hard. You either accept it or you distance yourself from that person.
Yeah, that just made me think about it, because I know for me, when I'm talking to someone and I'm expressing myself to them and telling them, hey, this is what you did to me to make me feel this way, and they are not hearing me, at a certain point, I get frustrated and I shut down. And I don't want to talk to you no more at that point. So, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, how to not allow that to happen, like what you said, like the whole babying portion, and where I'm like shutting down and enabling, and like, how do I do that?
Well, you saying in the moment when it happens, you shut down, right?
Yeah.
Well, you take time. You take time to yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, you tell the person, okay, I'm not in the space mentally to talk to you right now. Let me get myself together, and let's pick a day or something for us to come back and have a conversation where we can talk truthfully as adults, truthfully and openly, respectfully, right? Right. Yeah, and listening to understand, not just for like picking up sound bites to respond back to them.
Yeah, because that's what happens when you're in or when you're having a conversation with somebody, or even like arguing. Like you may say something to them that you don't really mean, and you're only saying it because you're angry. So it's good to just kind of like take a step back and breathe, and then try to have that conversation again later, because now you're level-headed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I like
for
that.
sure.
Yeah, well, we just want to say thank you once again for joining us. But before we go, we want to make sure we have your socials right, so they can follow you on your social media, on your real estate page, on your personal, if you want.
Follow my real estate page. It is Mamai Sells ATL. So that is MAMAI SELLS ATL. And that's it. And also on TikTok, I just opened up a TikTok account. But yes, I'm trying to grow my social media with real estate, because I've been doing it for a while, but I just never marketed myself or did all of that because of my, other job, my real job. So
if you're looking to buy a house, make sure you hit her up.
Thank you.
All right, so.
And also, so what?
No, go ahead, girl.
Don't forget to follow us on Let's Talk Bestie.
Yes.
On Instagram, TikTok,
YouTube.
That's it. YouTube.
Subscribe to our channel, like, comment,
all the good stuff.
Yeah. So we'll talk to you later, besties. All right.
Bye.
Bye.